Porter, Tallahassee, Taft. Take your tornado precautions. It does look like this has weakened some, but still seeing some broad rotation here, very close to where Mike Scantlin is located. Right here is where that would be. And again, tracking off to the north and to the east. So let's do that quick storm track here. Take the leading edge here of that circulation, pan it off here to the north and to the east. And again, we're looking at Jamesville pretty much moving in as we speak. And again, make sure you're taking your tornado precautions. Spring Hill 1246, Clarksville right around 1251, Porter 1255, Tallahassee at around 1259. So again, back here is that circulation. There is Mike's view right there. He is right there near Highway 62 and 64. That is right about where that circulation is, maybe just a little bit more off to the west of there. So let's clear that off of here. And again, take a look here at, let's take a look at the rotation potential here. And right there it is. That's what we were just talking about here, just to the west of where Mike Scantlin is here. He's now at 60 or Highway 62 and 64. Just got that other update. So right there is the area of concern as it tracks off to the north and to the east. Again, that's going to come right over the river here from Janesville, crossing the river over to around Spring Hill. So I know I just said it before, but those of you around Spring Hill, make sure you are taking your tornado precautions right now. Interior room away from any windows, lowest floor of your room as well, as this will continue to move off to the north and to the east. Let's zoom out a bit here. I'm going to get a look at the rest of this line as well, because anywhere along this line, we are concerned that we could get some of these brief spin-up type tornadoes with the wind shear that we do have in place. So we'll zoom this out just a bit, and you can see along this line, sometimes you get these little kinks. So I want to go ahead and scan around here and kind of investigate what's happening here on the leading edge of this line, even areas where we don't have tornado warnings, areas that we might be seeing something possibly beginning to happen. So that is going to be something we'll have to watch, because these can spin up fairly quickly. And notice we got this right here. Let me switch this over to velocity. Right here, it doesn't look too impressive right now, the velocities, but just seeing that little appendage there in the reflectivity does raise at least one eyebrow that maybe something is trying to spin there. As we pan a little bit farther to the south, notice as we keep going to the south here, now we're getting back here to the Hughes and Pittsburgh County line. Here's that next tornado warning down the line. We'll have to watch this from Atoka County. That could eventually work its way up here into southwestern portions of Pittsburgh County, so we'll have to watch that. That is right there near Tupelo. Let's switch this over to Oklahoma City radar and do the velocities here real quick and see what this looks like. And right there is the rotation right there. So that is between Tupelo and Parker. And again, if that holds together, tracking to the north and to the east, that would eventually work here, probably near Stewart, Rock Creek, and eventually here into western portions of Pittsburgh County. So we're going to watch this storm closely for those of you in Pittsburgh County, where we do have, again, a tornado warned storm out to your south and to your west. We'll switch that back over here to reflectivity, and let's zoom it back out again, take it all the way out here, following that line. Let's get a little closer here, again, back to our tornado warned storm that we do have here moving into Muskogee County, and we'll zoom in back in tight there. And I know Mike Scantlin has been busy as well, tracking these storms throughout the entire day, basically. And do we have Mike right now? I can see your view here, Mike. And what have you seen since we last talked to you? Yeah, the rotation was very close to you there when you were right there to Highway 62 and 64.
Yeah, Michael. So you know how they built that water tower just south of our Inola radar? That couplet is right in that little band of invisibility there, just a couple of pixels wide there. There's absolutely 100-plus mile-per-hour winds there right on that appendage. About a mile west of that highway intersection a few minutes ago, I had tree branches getting lofted upwards just right on top of me, and then extreme southerly winds of at least 95 to 100 miles an hour. Very brief, very small area of circulation, but it's right in that little dead zone where the water tower is blocking that band this far south. So that couplet is more intense than it looks, and it's just right in that unfortunate spot where you can't see it. I expect as it moves east out of that, you're going to see a couple of pixels of very, very strong winds, and then the easterlies and southeasterlies feeding right into it. Out ahead of it, are also very, very strong. I can't believe I haven't seen any power flashes because, I was getting almost blown off the road there right on the highway intersection. It's definitely the scariest thing I've seen so far today. I thought it was going to blow me off the road. It's tree branches just getting just torn right out of the tree and blowing due north there, just on the east side of that circulation, Michael.
Wow, I appreciate that there, Mike. So I definitely would say that we've got a confirmed tornado still then with this. And a great observation there, pointing out that little radar hole that we set, kind of not really a hole, but kind of a line that you get here in eastern Oklahoma because of the water tower in Inola does briefly block a segment of the radar that tracks off to the south and southwest. And there you can see exactly what we're talking about there, that little line that shows up there, and that is right where that circulation is. So as Mike was pointing out, he had very strong winds in and around that circulation, and he's talking about some of the winds that are flowing into it. That's another great way to be an indicator of how strong or how much a storm could be ramping up is the air that is flowing into the storm. If you have strong inflow going into the storm, you have a pretty good idea that this is a surface-based storm, meaning it's bringing in air near the ground level, and it's a very strong storm and potentially a tornadic storm if that inflow is quite strong. And that's what we have seen here with what Mike is describing here. He's working his way here now east along Highway 62. We've got Mark Folta out as well. He's positioned a little farther north and east, kind of waiting for that storm to work its way up here to his locations. I'm going to switch this back here to Tulsa again to get a look at the reflectivity here from Tulsa. And there's that, we were talking about that line right there it is. And again, that's right where that circulation was. And that's what Mike was pointing out. So let's switch it over here to velocity and see what we've got. And again, seeing right here is that area of circulation. And it's now just out to the west of where Mike is, maybe slightly north now of Highway 62. It looks like it's about ready to come over here. The Arkansas River now getting ready to cross over here into parts of Muskogee County here near Clarksville and Porter. Let's do a quick track on this because I do definitely want to track this. Again, if you are in the path of this storm, as we just saw from Mike's report, he thought maybe winds 95 to 100 miles per hour in a very tight area of circulation there right near Highway 62 and 64 as that was tracking off to the north and east. So let's take this right here. We'll take it from where that circulation is. Right there it is, and it's coming right over the Arkansas River. We're going to track that off to the north and to the east. And here are our times. Again, Mark Folta getting in position right now. You can see where his location is here near Anchor. But Clarksville right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Tallahassee, 12:48. Anchor at around 12:51. And again, here is this view here. And again, if again we're looking at Gibson at 12:56. Okay at 12:57. Wagner at around 1 o'clock in the morning, and Taylor Ferry at around 1:04 in the morning. So again, there is that area of circulation that we're tracking. And I know that Brandon, you've had a long day as well. What are you currently seeing with what we've got right now on radar?
Yeah, that's right, Michael. Of course, we're really watching the forward flanking portion of the squall line and just any notches that we can see, little indications that we could see some quick spin ups, and we have certainly seen that this evening and overnight tonight. So starting off towards the north, the possibility of that being a damaging wind line. That's why the Weather Service has that severe thunderstorm warning. And really from southern Kansas all the way down the line here. So we go back to reflectivity. So anywhere we have the forward motion here of the squall line, that's where we could see some damaging gusty winds. The possibility of that upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour, all the way down towards the Shoto area. Wagner is looking at that severe thunderstorm warning, okay. And basically all the way throughout our forecast area, all the way down towards Eufaula and just to the west of McAllister. But also, again, watching for any notches on the leading edge of the squall line. Certainly our biggest concern right now is in throughout the Haskell area, just southwest of Porter. And Michael, that's kind of looking like a little bit of a hook signature trying to form after it's getting out of that void of the water tower.
Yeah, exactly right. You can definitely see the little appendage that is there, and that would certainly raise an eyebrow. You see that in reflectivity. You do get a little bit of a hook indication there. Now we're back to the velocity data here, and right there is that circulation, but we can switch it back here to reflectivity to get another look at that to see what we're talking about. So right there, and you can see how that lines up right there. We'll switch it back to velocity right where that circulation is, right here, just to the south and west of Clarksville. Again, just came across the Arkansas River, now moving now into southern portions here of Muskogee County and moving off to the north and to the east. And of course, Mark Folta has been here getting in position. We've got Mike Scantlin now working his way along Highway 62, just ahead or just south of that and ahead of the line, but south of the circulation right now. And you can see their views there on the right portion of the screen as they continue to watch this very dangerous segment of this line of storms where we've got that rotation here near Clarksville. Let's go ahead and take a look here with what our rotational is showing, and right there it is. I mean, that is as clear as a bell where we've got that rotation. So again, tornado precautions here, Clarksville, Porter, as you head up to around Anchor as well. And if this does hold together, we're looking at this tracking up possibly to near Wagner and eventually even crossing over here into parts of Cherokee County if it continues to hold together. So we've got to watch this very closely here as it works its way here across parts now of Muskogee County. So those of you here back to Jamesville, Haskell, back to around Midway, you are now in the all clear. This has passed, but of course you still got that line of storms moving through. We'll switch it back here to reflectivity, and you can still see a lot of rain here, lots of wind still with this, and a lot of lightning and thunder. But as far as the tornado potential, those of you out here to the west, you are now in the all clear, and there's that appendage right there that's giving us the concern. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick storm track it, and again, just to get the update, we'll take it from that rotational track right there, and let's go ahead and track this off here to the north and to the east, because I just want to make sure you get another update here on the timing of this. So we're looking at Clarksville again, pretty much moving in as we speak. Tallahassee about 12:51, Gibson 12:59, Wagner we're looking at 1:03. Again, that is if it holds together. The tornado warning does not extend that far right now, but if it holds together, that would continue to track up in your direction. So just need to be prepared for that. And again, also around Taylor Ferry, 108, as well as Sequoia State Park. So keeping an eye on that as it would continue to track off here to the north and to the east. I'll go ahead and remove that real quick and switch it back here to reflectivity. And what we'll also do here is just kind of work our way back down the line. Let me just zoom it out here real quick, kind of get the whole view here, watching those tornado warnings. Also here, parts of Hughes County, and as you head south into Atoka County. Also here we have another tornado warning for Pontotoc County here south of Ada, and just watching these storms as they will kind of work their way up in the same direction. So anywhere along this line, we've got a lot of wind shear to work with. Anywhere along this line, we could potentially see something try to spin up. And a lot of times when you're dealing with a situation like this, it sometimes happens very quick. Supercell, you can track it, you can see the storm form, you have a pretty good idea how things are going to play out. When you got a line of storms like this and you get little embedded circulations, a lot of times you don't have much of a heads up, and it's there before you know it. So that's the challenge with dealing with little circulations along a line of storms. I am going to pan a little farther here to the north as well. Let's go ahead and get a look here up near the Kansas and Oklahoma line. Let's pan up here to the north again. This is where we had a lot of the activity earlier in the day, numerous tornado warnings, and we've got that line of storms working its way now into southeastern Kansas. Still do have severe thunderstorm warnings though here from Nowata County, now moving here into Craig County. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer here on this one, then we'll work our way back south to that tornado warning. But there we go. Again, the leading edge of this line, that's where you're going to get some of those very strong wind gusts. Let's take a look at the velocities here, and you can see right there we are. That's where we've got those stronger winds. That's the leading edge. So the radar is down here in Inola. We've got winds that are blowing away from the radar and probably at an angle of such that you're not really picking up the winds as much as what you probably could. If we go storm relative, it might pick it up just a little bit better. There we go. And you can see how the winds are pushing out here, and the leading edge of that's where you're going to get some of those stronger wind gusts as this pushes off to the north and to the east. But we can do a quick storm track with this as well. First, let me push this a little farther here. Just it looks like we got the severe thunderstorm warning now extended here into Craig County and also into Ottawa County and parts of Delaware County. So let's do a quick track with this, and we'll take the leading edge of that wind, which is right here, which is where they just put that severe thunderstorm warning out. So we'll take the leading edge of that, push that here off to the north and to the east. And again, we're looking at pretty much moving into Estella right now. Hollow 1259, Edna 1250. We're looking at Veneta at around 1254, Rogers at around 1255, and Pyramid Corners at around 1256. So again, that's would be with a severe thunderstorm warning. Main concern with this would be damaging wind gusts, possibly up to about 60 or 70 miles per hour as that does move on through. And of course, a lot of heavy rain and lightning to go with it. Let's go ahead and remove that. We'll pan a little farther south here down the line. Let's go ahead back down here farther south now as we get right along Highway 69. You can see the leading edge here, Adair, back down to around Pryor and Choteau. You've probably got some low clouds and a lot of lightning flashing out to your west as this does approach here. Now, Highway 69. Let's go ahead and do a quick storm track with this as well. Again, the leading edge here right along the highway pretty much. And let's track that here off to the east and northeast. And again, the time here, we're looking at Pryor, 1247, Maisie at around 1249, Choteau 1249, Paradise View around 1254, Sportsman Acres around 1255, Pensacola right around 1258. So monitoring that as well as it tracks off to the north and to the east. We'll continue to pan farther south. Now we're getting into that area where we have the tornado warning, and that is currently the circulation right back here near Porter. And let me zoom in just a little bit closer here just to get a closer look at this. And again, as we zoom in here, right there would be that circulation there. Doesn't quite look as impressive as it did earlier. We'll switch it over to reflectivity though, and you can still see that appendage here sticking out. So what's happening is we've got the rotation right here, and you get that area around that rotation that will kind of push out some of that precipitation, and that right there is where we've got the circulation right near Porter. So currently in Porter, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now as that circulation still moves off here to the north and to the east. We've got Mark Folta out. We've got Mike Scantlin out. I don't know if we have Mark at the moment. If we don't have Mark, we'll go to Mike. Do we have Mark by chance? Okay, we do have Mark. Mark, you've had a busy day as well. We've been tracking this tornado warned storm here now moving into parts of Muskogee County. You've worked your way here in position. What have you seen as you've worked your way south of the storm?
Well, I just went over the Arkansas River north on 69, and I can see everything off to the west. I do see a lot of lowered areas. There could probably be anything at, anywhere along that line. It's really hard to see with the all of the trees and everything. I'm actually in a spot now where I can get a better look. Yeah, there's just a lot of lowered clouds, and I'm not seeing anything indicative of a tornado just yet. But it's going to be to I believe my northwest, probably 3 or 4 miles. But not seeing anything other than just some, the cloud structure when the lightning lights it up, Michael.
I appreciate it. Just saw a great flash right there from your vantage point, too. And again, that's one of the challenges when you're chasing at night is you can't see much. You're dependent on lightning a lot of times to illuminate what you're trying to look at. And, of course, as you get here in eastern Oklahoma, we tend to have a lot more trees than you've got out in central and western Oklahoma. So, again, that visibility can just add to the challenges of chasing in this part of the state. But appreciate that report there, Mark, and we're going to get to Mike here in a second as well. You can see that tornado warning continues to be extended here off to the north and to the east. Brandon, you've been watching this here as well. We just had that new tornado warning issued. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, certainly, Mike. We go seeing that tornado warning that was just extended by the National Weather Service for Wagner County until 1:30, also Cherokee County until 1:30. So, it's headed towards the northeast still at a pretty good clip. The shear rate is still showing that shear right over Porter right now. Of course, Fulton and Scantlin are just to the southeast of that rotation. Storm relative is still showing that broad area of rotation. I also wanted to take a look at our other map showing, of course, the other thing we're tracking overnight tonight, and that's the flood watch effect in throughout all the way through tomorrow morning. Just looking at this, Sager, we're seeing some of those rainfall totals over the past hour approaching 1 inch in the Tulsa metro area, 1.50 inches in Bixby, and 1.69 inches in Hectorville, and also down towards Okmulgee, just over an inch of rain. So aside from that tornadic threat that we are seeing right now around Porter, just to the east and to the southwest of Wagner, torrential rains overnight tonight, and that will be the story, Michael, all the way through the morning hours.
Yeah, it certainly will, and that's one of the concerns that we've had, not just the severe weather potential, but the flooding potential that these storms could bring, and that the amount of rain in a short amount of time could lead to some flash flooding concerns, and that is what Brandon was pointing out there. We've got the flash flood watches that are in effect. Again, everything continued to track off here to the north and to the east. So Porter, again, tornado precautions right now. Those of you in Wagner definitely need to take those tornado precautions at the moment as this is tracking up in your direction. Did we have an updated look at the speed there, Brandon? Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Right now, it is obviously, as we've been reporting, to the northeast, and we have that at 35 miles per hour.
35 miles per hour. All right. That again, so 35 miles per hour here to the north and east. Let me switch that back here to velocity. And again, broad area of circulation. It doesn't look nearly as tight as it was, but it's still there, and of course, capable of producing a tornado. And we saw Mike's report where he had wind speeds, he thought maybe 95 to 100 miles per hour back at Highway 62 and near Highway 64 earlier as he was monitoring this storm. So let's do a quick track with this. Let me just position this a little bit more here and put that rotation a little more down toward the corner, and that'll give me more room here for the track. Again, right there it is. It's pretty obvious where that circulation is. Let me try that one more time to grab that track, and we'll go ahead and track this here off to the north and to the east. Again, Wagner, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Again, this is heading right toward Wagner. 101, the time. We're looking at Toppers at 107, Rocky Point 110, Yonkers we're looking at about 117, Pine Oaks Acres at around 123, Cedar Crest around 124, along with Lost City. So again, anybody in the path of this need to take your tornado precautions right now. Interior room away from any windows. If you got a storm shelter, go ahead and get in your storm shelter. Again, watching the circulation here. And it's now getting back close here to Mike Scantlin. Mike, you're working your way north here along Highway 69, working your way back up to this circulation. What have you seen here as you continue to work your way north?
The structure on this thing is absolutely wild. It looks like a sculpted supercell just kind of molded into a shelf cloud, but it's got a big inflow feeder band here. If I get a lightning strike here, you can see this feeder band feeding in right above us. It's just a beautiful sculpted, like multi-tiered stacked pancake supercell here. It's absolutely wild for being an embedded, squall line supercell type of deal here. But the circulation is just to my west. Very strong westerlies on the south side of it, and to the north side of it here, I just came into like the calm air that's feeding in right here where Highway 69 does the little curve to the east and then back to the north. So the circulation is just right here. I don't have like strong inflow or anything here. I haven't seen any power flashes. But then again, I absolutely got hit by a tornado on the new circulation as it developed there just west of that highway intersection, probably about a half mile west of the highway intersection. I've got damage to my truck for sure. From the tree branches, I took some really big tree branches from that tree. But I wish I had an anemometer on the truck so I could tell you exactly what the wind speeds were. But the tree branches probably would have ripped the anemometer off my roof. So I was just a half second from disaster there. My wife is not going to be happy with me for being that close. That new circulation developed very quickly. We had the old circulation just about a mile to my west, kind of getting wrapped up, and the new one just like clockwork there about a mile east of that. So that's how this thing is. These appendages will kind of get wrapped up in rain, and then a new one will just pop up right on. It'll just condense out of thin air about a mile east of that, or a little bit to the east or northeast of the old circulation. So, it's strange to see such a cyclic embedded supercell in the squall line, but this is the type of environment where that type of thing is absolutely possible. and it's happened a couple times with this circulation. I believe we're on the third cycle of this inflow notch here, Michael.
I appreciate that, Mike. And just to let you know, it looks like we now have confirmed tornado warning with this particular circulation, Mike. So we just had that drop in while we were talking. So confirmed
Does that
now.
look like it's moving right into Wagner?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be moving right toward Wagner, which is a concern. So again, Wagner right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. That warning has been updated now to a confirmed tornado warning. So Wagner, this is about ready to move on in. Make sure you are taking your tornado precautions right now. There you can see Mike's location right here. Here is Wagner and the circulation. It is right by you, Mike, at the moment. It's moving in here from the south and west. So be cautious here as that does move up in your direction. And as Mike said, he was impacted by a tornado earlier when it was just west of that Highway 62 and 64 interchange. And now, again, there is that circulation coming right up into Wagner. So, again, we've got tornado warnings in effect. Let me remove that thunderstorm warning that's popping up there real quick. Let me see if I can get that off of there real quick. And looks like I may have lost the buttons there. If there's a way to pull those buttons back up, that would be great, so I could use the hand tracking. But again, we've got tornado warning right now. Take your tornado precautions right now in Wagner. So make sure you're doing that. We've got again that circulation right there coming into Wagner. It is moving off to the north and to the east at about 35 miles per hour. And then downstream from there, we've got again areas here. Yonkers, go ahead and take your tornado precautions. It's going to be very close to Eli as well, so make sure you're taking your tornado precautions there too. So again, watching this closely here as it continues to move off here to the north and to the east. So again, we've got tornado warnings in effect here as this does move off to the north and to the east. And I know we've had a long day so far. Meteorologist Emma Lenderos has been in as well. Emma, you've been tracking these storms as they've worked their way off here to the east. What are you seeing right now?
Well, Michael, of course, we are continuing to track this squall line as it's moving here across green country. And I am on Lynx 3 control room if you want to show kind of what I'm viewing here as we're continuing to track the squall line. Lots of activity as we've been dealing with from the start of this morning, and even as we're continuing to track these overnight hours. So here we go. All right, so from all the way from the top, northeast Oklahoma, we've got the severe thunderstorm warning going on. That includes Craig County. That goes until 1:45. And even just moving down the line, keep in mind though, once you're behind this area right here, once that strong storms move out of your area, you're going to be in the clear, but are going to be left with some significant flooding. We're going to continue to track quite a bit of flooding in some of these locations. So Veneta right now starting to get those strong winds moving in out towards Big Cabin, Adair, even out in Pryor. And as we're continuing on over towards Choteau, right now seeing some rain, but you're about to get some heavy amounts of rainfall as we're still in that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 1 o'clock. Here's that tornado warning we've been watching. That's inching its way closer to Wagner area, goes until 1:30. And that does clip portions of Mays County and Cherokee County, so just be cautious of that. Look, it looks like they went ahead and extended the severe thunderstorm warning out towards Delaware County. They're doing that now just to give you that heads up because it is nighttime and you're going to want to take those necessary precautions. Even as we're zooming down further towards the south, Muskogee, get ready. You're about to get quite a bit of rain moving into your area, and even all the way down towards Eufaula. Even in McAllister already have those severe thunderstorm warnings. So we're staying very busy, but once again, once you're behind these storms, you're really going to be in the clear and just left with quite a bit of rainfall in your area, Michael. I
appreciate that, Emma. And do we have Mark Folta on the line? Mark was letting us know that he was seeing some power flashes. Mark, let us know. Mark, what are you seeing? I just got report that you were seeing some power flashes.
Yeah, about 5 minutes prior to you taking Mike Scantlin's call, it was numerous power flashes. Just to my west, I'm at the Turnpike entrance just north of Muskogee, and it was a solid, just repeated power flash from probably the same pole or lines that were getting impacted by debris, but it was just massive power flashes, and that was about 5 minutes before you took Mike Scantlin's call. So it's going to be way off, probably getting closer to Wagner now, Michael.
Yep, that's exactly right. And we've got Mike Scantlin there in Wagner. And let's go ahead and get Mike on the line, too, because he is right near that circulation. And, Mike, you're right near that circulation here near Wagner. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, I've turned off to the south. I'm looking south here, just giving you a view to the southwest here on that little bend of 69. And, I can kind of see a lowered area there just on the west side of Wagner. And then another one here just kind of off to my west right here. There's kind of you can see in the reflectivity, there's kind of a little double hook type of deal where we've got a new circulation, just like the last one, taken over on the east side. So we have the little circulation moving into Wagner, and then a new one that's going to try to develop here just on the east side of that as well. So reflectivity shows it better than velocity before it happens, and then once it strengthens, velocity kind of catches up with it. So what is that? I think I just saw smoke come off of this semi-truck here. I thought it might be tornadic, but it's just smoke coming out of the exhaust here. Nothing to worry about. Just freaks me out. I'm very heightened awareness here in this type of situation. That circulation is going to move just on the west side of Wagner here, just to my south. So I'm not seeing power flashes. I'll holler if I see anything here. But right now I do see a little bit of a lowered area, and that's moving right into Wagner.
I appreciate that, Mike. We've got a great view here from your vantage point as you're looking here to the south and west down Highway 169. And I actually saw what you were talking about there as the truck went by and the lightning illuminated the scene. I can also get a hint of what you're talking about with that lowered area there as the lightning is flashing. So Mike's in a great position here on this storm. And again, let's go ahead and do another quick storm track with this because, again, this is an area of concern. And Mike was pointing out that you can see on the reflectivity as well that maybe there could be another circulation developing, and it might be showing up here actually a little bit with the reflectivity with the velocity as well with what we're seeing. But I'm going to track this off to the north and to the east at around 35 miles per hour here. Right there's the new updated area of circulation. So now it looks like it is passing past Wagner here to the north and east. And let's go ahead and just track this here off to the north and east at around 32 to 35. Let's see if we can get 35 in there. We'll go 34. That'll work. All right, Yonkers at 110. Cedar Crest at around 118. We're looking at Pegs at around 125. Iron Post, we're looking at about 127. Liberty, 135. And eventually Rose at around 140. So again, continuing to watch this circulation, track off to the north and east. If you are in the path here of this circulation, definitely want to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Again, interior room of your home, lowest floor available. If you have anything to protect your head, you have a bike helmet, a football helmet, baseball helmet, whatever you've got, go ahead and put that on as well as this tracks off to your direction here from the southwest to the north and to the east. So again, this is the most dangerous part right now of this line of storms as it does move off to the north and to the east. I'm going to go ahead and remove that track real quick, and I'm going to zoom back out here because we had some concerns here with the storms to the south and west of Pittsburgh County. Those tornado warnings have been dropped. So that's good news. We had tornado warnings earlier here, parts of Hughes County, Atoka County, and Pontotoc County. Those have since been dropped as that circulation has weakened enough to just allow those tornado warnings to be canceled. So right now, as we look here across eastern Oklahoma, let me switch this back here and we'll get a look at the reflectivity here. We switch this back and you can see there's that line of storms that does extend all the way here from southeastern Kansas back into northeast Oklahoma. That line now pretty much lined up with about Highway 69 at the moment. So Tulsa, all clear. Might still be getting some rumbles of thunder and a little bit of light rain, but we are in the all clear in Tulsa as this line is making progression here to the east. And hopefully it continues to progress like it is. It's doing pretty well right now. There was a lot of concern that this may really hold up all the way into to near sunrise tomorrow morning, especially over southeastern portions of the region. Oh, we got a new tornado warning now. Again, we were going to watch these appendages. Let's zoom in here a little closer. That just popped in here. Looks like McIntosh County, very close here to the Eufaula vicinity. So let's zoom in here real quick. Let's get in right now into this new area here where we've got a new tornado warning right near Eufaula. Let's take a look here. Let me remove that and let's pan here a little farther, push that back here to the south and to the west, and let's go to velocity data. And so right there is the concern. So right near Eufaula, north side here of Lake Eufaula, this is going to track here right across McIntosh County, then into far southern portions here of Muskogee County. We'll track up here near Warner and Porham, and then from there, if it would hold together, up to around the Gore Webbers Falls vicinity. So let's do a quick look here. Let's take a look at base velocity with this and see if it looks much different. There you can see some of the inbounds there. So right there would be your circulation. Let's go ahead and, Brandon, what is the latest speed on this new tornado warning that just dropped? Is it right about that 40 mile per hour speed as well?
Yeah, it's still going northeast, which all the cells have been going northeast tonight, upwards of 40.
40 miles per hour. Okay, I'm going to do a quick storm track here, and let me just push that a little farther here back so I have a little bit more room to put that storm track in here and take it right here from the circulation. We're going to track this off to the north and to the east, and again, we'll go right about 40 miles per hour. So again, Texana at around 112, Dutchess Landing 116, Porham we're looking at 127, Warner right around 130. We're looking at McLean 137, Webbers Falls 143, Gore at around 145, and also Gore Landing at 146, and of course eventually Greenleaf State Park at around 147. So again, watching this closely as it tracks off to the north and to the east. And again, definitely want to take your tornado precautions right now in those areas. This is going to work its way here south, very close to Warner, maybe just south of Warner. It's going to be very close here to that Porham and Warner vicinity here as it tracks off to the north and to the east. Switching it back here to reflectivity. And again, there's that little appendage right there. I'm going to switch this over to Fort Smith radar, see if we get a better angle here of this. And let's see if we can switch it over here to Fort Smith reflectivity, see if this looks any cleaner. Not too much, but gives you an idea, again, where we are looking at this potential circulation right about there. There's a little green right there, and there's the outbounds reds. Again, we're looking from the Fort Smith radar from that angle. So right there would be your circulation as it tracks off to the north and to the east. And now we've got two tornado warnings ongoing. We've got the one down here just to the north and to the east of Eufaula, south of Shakota, and we've got the other one up here to the north. And this one here looks like a new tornado warning may have been issued. Looks like we may have dropped the confirmed, but still have a tornado warning here tracking now to the north and to the east of Wagner. Let me switch this back to the Tulsa radar because that's a little bit closer view from this vantage point. And there you go, right there. That circulation is still there, fairly broad. We're not getting those greens and reds tightly packed up against each other, but right there is that circulation. That's what's been tracking off to the north and east. And again, Mike Scantlin is here along Highway 69. We got James Rogers out. We've got Mark Volta out as well, trying to get in position. And these storms, as they move, can be very difficult to keep up with. You know, the roads don't always follow the easiest path to stay with a moving thunderstorm. So sometimes it can be a challenge to get in position on some of these storms, but there's Scantlin right here on Highway 69, staying with this as he's working his way up and to get in another position on this storm. But it's been a very long day so far with tracking tornado warnings. The first tornado warnings were issued before noon in western portions of the state, so it has been certainly a very long day so far, and now into a long night. Meteorologist Emma Landeros keeping an eye on these storms as well as they continue to move off to the east and northeast. Emma, what do you have for the latest?
Well, Michael, so far for the latest, as we're continuing to track this line, the severe thunderstorm warning, that does include Delaware County and also Mays County now moving in. I am on links 3 over there. Hopefully we can get that going. That way you're kind of seeing. There we go. Okay. So prior, all the way out towards Spavinaw, J, now included in that severe thunderstorm warning. So you're probably getting those alerts on your phone right now. And of course, down here, the one we've been watching is that's going right over Wagner Wagner County. This does go until 1:30. That latest tornado warning that continues to track further towards the northeast, like we've mentioned, about 35 miles per hour. Even out further towards the south over by Eufaula, we're continuing to track this one as well. Besides those two tornado warnings, we do have those ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings with that squall line that goes until 1:15. That will likely continue to extend. These are very slow moving, dumping quite a bit of rainfall. So as it's inching its way closer, I mean, Muskogee, okay, right at that leading edge right now. So you're probably seeing those gusty winds moving in and that heavy amount of rain. As I was moving in here to Tulsa overnight, I did get caught in some of this, and let me say, visibility goes way down, so definitely don't want to be caught driving in this, and I'm sure it's going to wake some folks up as you're waking up this morning. So if you are tuning in just now, you're wondering what's going on, we're really watching this leading edge that goes all the way from Miami all the way down even into McAllister. Once this moves in behind that, you're going to be in the all clear for that severe threat, but you are going to be dealing with quite a bit of rain that's going to continue in the area. So that's something we're going to be watching once this moves out early this morning. Michael?
I appreciate that, Emma. And again, you can just kind of see there that line. You get those little bowing segments, and then sometimes on that line as well, you get these little appendages that tend to spin up. And we got a lot of wind shear to work with. Wind shear is change in wind direction and speed with height, and that's what helps get storms to rotate. And so we've got a lot of wind shear, a lot of opportunity for storms to take advantage of that and to start to rotate. And again, here's that rotation that we were just tracking earlier. We've got the tornado warning here through parts of areas here from down to the north, I should say, to the north and to the east of Wagner. That's going to be tracking here kind of right along the Mays and Cherokee County lines here. And it's going to work its way right along that zigzagged area portion of the county lines. And eventually here, it will continue to move off to the north and east, possibly up into Delaware County if it continues to hold together. So we'll have to watch this here, Highway 412, maybe over to around Little Kansas here as this continues to move off to the north and to the east. So again, watching this closely as it does continue to move here off to the north and to the east. Let's pan here a little bit farther now to the south. And again, we've got, again, the tornado warning here to the south as well, right near areas here near Eufaula. So here's this particular tornado warning from McIntosh County. And again, that circulation, it's showing up right about here. So we're looking here to the north and to the east of Eufaula. Let's take a look at the rotational wind. So right there it is. And let's go ahead and switch this back over here. Let's take a look at the Fort Smith radar as well, see if we get a little different indicator. No, pretty much lines up right about the same spot. So that's the area of concern here, tracking here just to the north and to the east of Eufaula. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick storm track on this. This was moving right about to 40 miles per hour. So we'll take it right here from that rotation, track that off to the north and to the east at about 40 miles per hour. So at that pace, Dutchess Landing right about 117. So it's going to be coming here in the next few moments. We don't have a confirmed tornado with this, but rotation potential for a tornado. So go ahead and take those tornado precautions if you live in Dutchess Landing. And again, as it continues to move off here to the north and to the east, we'll eventually approach here I-40. So we're looking at areas near Weber's Falls, Warner, possibly here very close to Warner or just south of Warner, and Gore at about 146. We're looking at Greenleaf State Park, 148, and Carlisle at around 152 as that continues to track off to the north and to the east. And of course, we've got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings lined up with this line as well as everything continues to push off to the north and to the east. We'll switch that back over to reflectivity. Let's zoom things out here just a bit and let me take the tracks there off. And again, there you can see our tornado warnings that we've got in effect, and of course, line here of severe thunderstorms as well. So let's switch this back here to Tulsa. We'll go to reflectivity here with the Tulsa radar, and I want to go here across the area. So there's that area here from Craig County, now getting ready to move here into Ottawa County. Let's zoom in just a little bit tighter, and we'll go right down the line. I not only want to track the tornado warnings that we've got, but I want to keep an eye on these severe thunderstorm warnings as well, because those are going going to affect a larger area, even though they might not be as intense as a really tightly confined tornado potential. But again, looking here, the leading edge here of this line, we're looking back to around areas here near Veneta, Blue Jacket, Afton, as you head back to around Ketchum and Langley, and we'll just continue to pan here down this line. So again, there is that leading edge now. Salina, Sportsman Acres, just about ready to come in here into Locust Grove. We've also got the circulation here right there. You can see right there's that little appendage right there. We'll switch this back over here to storm relative velocity, and you can see the green flowing to the radar here, the reds flowing around, and right there is that area of circulation. Now, I will say it's not a very tight area of circulation. When you get these higher greens and brighter reds and they're right next to each other, then you know you have very tight circulation and a likely tornado. But this is certainly rotation and worth monitoring, certainly indicating that a tornado could form as this does move off to the north and to the east. We'll see if, as this moves off to the north and east, if we continue that tornado warning off to the north and to the east. Of course, it's been a busy day, as we know. Meteorologist Brandon Woolley has been in much of the day, too. Brandon, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Michael, really focusing in on those power outages across our area right now. And if we take a look at our map, you can see kind of all the different counties that are shaded there in that blue. And actually, Tulsa County is seeing the most amount of outages right now. If we take our little plucker here, you can see around Tulsa County around 2,000 outages as of the 1 a.m. hour. And I'm just kind of taking the offline, looking at PSO's map. And the biggest area where we're seeing the most amount of power outages right along Highway 169 in the Owasso area. Customer outages right now, 1,236, and that start time when the power went out was 11:45, so just before midnight. Kind of another concerning area right now is in the Tulsa metro area between Memorial and Sheridan Road along East 41st. Right now seeing about 350 outages, and that start time was just before midnight as well, Michael.
So that certainly was with the line as it came blowing right into the Tulsa metro. Thankfully, winds were not quite as intense as what we had back with the Father's Day storm, but certainly a similar sort of path that storm took, bringing in some very strong and at least some potentially damaging winds as we have seen with the power outages. So again, we're zoomed out here once again across the area, and you can see that we've got, again, tornado warnings in effect. They have extended now that tornado warning all the way up into parts of Delaware County. So let's go ahead and maybe zoom back in on that, and we'll do some quick storm tracks on that too as well, since we just got the updated tornado warning. So I'm going to zoom in here a little closer here. And of course, Mike Scantlin, he is right there too, just kind of keeping an eye on him. He's sort of back embedded in the rain right now, but he has been watching this quickly. And I imagine what he's going to do here is get on 412 and work his way east to get in position here on this tornado warning, which is now moving here off to the north and to the east. And do we have an updated speed here on this tornado warning as it continues to move off to the north and east? Most of the evening, they're right about that 35. 50 now. Okay, I was actually wondering because the warning has been drawn out just a little bit farther compared to what we had seen with the previous warning. So it looks like it may have picked up a little bit of speed here as it moves off to the north and to the east. So let me drop this, push that back here toward the bottom left of your screen. So right there's going to be the circulation. There's that little inflow notch right there. There's the RFD coming around right there, and there's your inflow notch. So right there's your circulation. Should show up pretty well here when we switch it over to the velocity data. And right there it is. So I'm going to track that here off to the north.
Guys,
and
can we go to
the east.
Wagner?
Let's go ahead and do that here right at about, let's see if we can get it up to about 50 miles per hour. If it'll let me do it, that might be about the limit it will do. Let me go ahead and I'm going to remove that since those times will probably be off just a little bit. Didn't quite get the speed, but we'll zoom out and we'll zoom back in here. And
Wagner, he has some damage in Wagner,
okay.
Power outages and debris. So obviously the storm has, the rotation has blown through there, but we want to get his image up, and he has some power outages and some debris.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get Mark's shot up if we've got that. And Mark, I believe that you can hopefully hear me now, and you say you are seeing some damage in Wagner. Okay, it sounds like that we are working on getting in touch with Mark, and again, kind of watching this view here. So it does sound like we may have at least some damage in Wagner from what Mark was indicating. Not sure on how much that damage is, but waiting to hear from Mark here from what he is seeing here with this storm. Again, we saw that rotation track right near the Wagner area, almost right over the Wagner area, and that was a concern that we may have still potentially a tornado on the ground. We've got Mark Fulton now. Mark, you are seeing some damage in Wagner.
Yeah, south side of Wagner, there's a lot of debris everywhere. I don't know if it's going to be tornado driven, but it's definitely all over. There are branches. All the road, or not all of it, a lot of the road signs have been completely elbowed. They're bent all the way over to the ground. The power's out over here at Dewey Avenue. And if you'll look at my shot, you'll see there's one of the signs that's been blown down there. And there's another one out here.
Yeah,
but,
go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, definitely some strong winds or something came through here. I'll show you. There's a big old tree limb down also over here. Here it is right here. I don't know. But let me turn around and show you this, because that's definitely pretty significant damage here. Let me just get you a real quick shot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see that right there.
I could see that there's a lightning flashing, and I could definitely see the stoplights were out. I could see the stop sign that was laid down on the side, and we might have a little bit of a delay from from when you're talking to your video. There's the tree branch. Now we've got it, and yeah, can clearly see that branch down there. And so it does look like we've had some sort of damage, whether it was tornadic or wind. We're not sure yet, but definitely seeing some damage. And you said what end of town was it? You said the south side of town. Is that correct?
Yeah, just when you come in on 69, when you come in from Muskogee on the 69 on the very edge of town, there's one of those signs. Wait for my shot to come back in. You'll see where this sign here got blown over. I'll sit here and then we'll go up. Are you seeing that sign blown over?
Yeah, I see how you're turning around here. Now I see the sign right now. So, yeah, there is a bit of a delay, but definitely got the sign there. It's basically the stop light sign indicating that there will be a stoplight ahead that has been blown over there. So definitely seeing some damage there with that possibly the circulation or tornado that kind of tracked up there through near Wagner. And by the way, that circulation continues. Mark, appreciate your report. If you come across anything else, just give us a shout and we'll get you on the air quickly. Let's get back to that tornado warning, because that is still ongoing right now, and it is continuing to move off here to the north and to the east. We've got two tornado warnings. Let's first we'll go here to the south, and then we're going to track that one back here to the north, because we've been off this one here to the south a little bit. This one originated very close to Eufaula, continues to work now, it looks like, over eastern portions of McIntosh County, and soon we'll be working up here to around the Warner and Porum vicinity. I'm going to switch this back over here to the Fort Smith radar. That'll give us hopefully a little bit better view of what you're looking at here. And tough to see. Let's switch this over here to the rotation detector, see if we got anything to show up. And not a whole lot showing up here. Let's see if we got anything from the Tulsa radar, if anything there might be showing up. But again, it looks like perhaps this particular circulation might be weakening just a little bit, maybe a hint of something right here. But right now it does not look as impressive as it did earlier, but I still want to track it just in case there is something going on there. And this one was moving closer to about the 35 to 40 mile per hour speed. And so let's track that here, and we'll go right between the two. So Weber's Falls, we're looking at 152, Gore 154, Carlisle about 2 o'clock, as well as Tamaha. We're looking at Sequoia as well about 2 o'clock, and Aqua Park at about 2:04, Redbird Smith at around 2:04, and Paradise Hill at about 2:05. And again, that's going to continue to track up here very close to I-40, approaching I-40 here, right at about that 152 range as it gets close here to around the Weber's Falls vicinity. So we'll be watching that closely. Let's go ahead and pan a little farther to the north. Let's get back up to this tornado warning here. Again, we have some, looks like at least some street signs, some tree limbs down around Wagner from what Mark Folta was reporting. And there you can see this circulation showing up very well here as you head here just to the south and to the west of Locust Grove. So this is now tracking far northwestern portions here of Cherokee County. This is going to right where Cherokee County and you've got Mays County and Delaware County right where they meet here at that trifecta. That's about where this circulation is going to go over, and it's going to cross over here Highway 412 as well as it continues to move off to the north and east. And again, this forward speed has picked up a bit. This is around 50 miles per hour, so this is certainly not wasting any time here moving off to the north and to the east. So let's do track that up here at close to 50 miles per hour. And so there we go. Rose at around 132, Leech 136, Twin Oaks 140, Little Kansas at about 143. We're looking at Cloud Creek at around 147 as well. So again, all of this is going to continue to track off to the north and to the east here at about 50 miles per hour. So if you live here in that zone, there's a circulation back here, bottom left portion of your screen. If you live in this zone, again, we've got tornado warning in effect. And again, take your tornado precautions right now. Interior room away from windows. And of course, if you have a helmet, make sure you put that on as well. Make sure you've got shoes on as well. Of course, we've been very busy throughout the evening. Meteorologist Brandon Woolley, what have you got for your latest?
Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. So we want to go to the Wagner area again, just getting word that Mark Folta possibly has some more damage or something that we need to see right now. Mark, are you on the line with us still?
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, what do you have for us now?
Okay, I got power poles that have been snapped in half and power poles that are down. I don't know if my shot showed up yet, but it'll be there with you in just a second. And you'll see the power lines that are down on those vehicles in that car lot. And then I'll go down here just a few more feet, and you'll be able to see one of these power poles here that's snapped and landed on a sign here. Let me just stop here. I'm sure you'll be able to see it here in a second. But, yeah, definitely, you know, this kind of looks like straight line wind damage here, but power poles snapped. Several power poles are actually down on the ground also. So definitely some damage here in the city of Wagner, Brandon.
All right, thank you so much. Our storm chaser, Mark Folta, with that update from the Wagner area. Obviously, that was the damage that was done earlier, now just kind of a heavy rain event. So we'll send it back to you, Michael, and if we have anything more from Folta, we'll let you know.
Yeah, you can definitely see the power poles leaned over there in his shot as he's looking here along the highway there in Wagner. And the lightning flashes, you can really see how those power poles are kind of leaned over there to the side. Looks like perhaps an emergency vehicle there. Police officer probably there monitoring the situation too. So again, it looks like we are seeing some damage here in the Wagner vicinity. It doesn't look like extreme damage. You can see a lot of the structures there still look somewhat intact. But as Mark was pointing out, we've seen a lot of some tree limbs down. We've seen these power poles here snap, some of the road signs, that have been kind of blown over a bit. And so enough wind to definitely knock some things over in Wagner. So certainly keeping an eye on that situation. That's right about where that circulation tracked through. So, we're not sure yet if that was caused by either perhaps some very strong straight line winds or perhaps by the circulation or something tornadic that moved through the Wagner vicinity. All right, here we are again. That circulation is still pretty tight right here, far northwestern portions of Cherokee County. And there's our updated storm tracks here again. So if you live here in these zones, as this continues to wrap up, it looks like it's going to continue to move off to the north and to the east, about 50 miles per hour. So it has sped up quite a bit, no doubt about that. Let me go ahead and remove that. Looks like it's even trying to perhaps even wrap up a little bit more. Let me switch it over here to the rotational wind here and see what we've got showing up. And right there, you can see right there's the area that we've got of concern here, far northwestern portions of Cherokee County. So areas here, if you are along Highway 412 here to the west of Little Kansas and to the east of Locust Grove, this is going to come up right right over Highway 412, most likely. I would still go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now in Little Kansas and also here around Colcord, because it's going to be very close to you all. But again, I would certainly, if you are working your way here along Highway 412, whether eastbound or westbound, maybe just wait for this to cross the highway before you venture here to the west of Little Kansas or to the east of Locust Grove, because this is going to come right up in your direction. Let's switch it back over to reflectivity. Again, we've got this line of storms that continues to move through. There's the appendage right there. Boy, that is really showing up quite well. Might be potentially even strengthening just a little bit right now. So watching that closely. Let's zoom out here. I do want to kind of zoom out. We've got, again, a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings on the leading edge of this line. We still have that tornado warning here south of I-40 as well. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings go all the way back here into parts of Pittsburgh County. In fact, those severe thunderstorm warnings go all the way back down to the Red River as well. The northern end of this line has, believe it or not, been one of the lesser intense portions of this line compared to what we had earlier in the day when we had a lot of tornado warnings track across the northern Osage. We had Chautauqua County and Montgomery County dealing with a lot of tornado warnings earlier in the day. You are now in the all clear. So that is wonderful news there. Let's go a little bit farther here to the south because we have not spent a lot of time on these southern storms. Let's get back down here into parts of Pittsburgh County. I am going to switch this over to Fort Smith radar as we do that. Let's switch it here with reflectivity, and a fairly intense storm right now coming right into McAllister. So I'm going to zoom in here on this storm. And again, we've got to keep an eye at perhaps any rotation that might be trying to develop within this line. And so we'll have to watch this. And you can see even the reflectivity here, seeing these little appendages show up. So let's see what shows up now as we take a look at the velocity data. And that does not look too impressive right now. Let me switch that over. And again, not really seeing anything lining up the way you might think it would when you look at the reflectivity. But just looking at the reflectivity here with some of these appendages that we're seeing, I'd still be careful here. Maybe hints of at least some weak rotation on this storm as it comes right here across parts of Pittsburgh County. So McAllister, Savannah, we've got strong winds, maybe a little bit of hail with this, lightning and thunder moving on through for that severe thunderstorm warning. And again, we're looking at primarily a damaging wind and hail threat with this as it continues to move here off to the north and to the east. Let's go ahead and do a quick move here over to areas here farther to the east. And let me just pan this a little back here to the west. I went a little too far east. So there we go here. Now we're back here right along Highway 69 from Crowder all the way back down through McAllister, Chambers, and Savannah. And again, just seeing these little appendages here, just something that raises an eyebrow that will be worth watching as this storm continues to move here off to the east. Now we're back farther here to the north. Eufaula seeing the heavy rain, by the way, all clear in Eufaula with this tornado warning that is still ongoing here. And let's see if we've got any sort of update with this as far as the velocity. We had looked at this earlier. It was not looking quite as impressive as what it was earlier. And again, it looks like it may have washed out just a little bit. Let's see if we switch this back here. And again, pretty weak circulation right now, but still somewhat perhaps of an appendage here south of Warner. So watching that closely as that moves off to the east and to the north and east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So that's going to work its way right across here, far southern portions of Muskogee County here, just near and south of I-40. Farther to the north, then we get up here into areas near Muskogee and also here into Tahlequah. You can see strong storms moving on through here at the moment. Damaging wind gust potential with these, along with some hail and some very heavy rain as all this continues to move here off to the north and to the east. And now we get farther here to the north where we have that ongoing tornado warning. And by far, this has been the most intense portion of this line over the last half hour, as we're still seeing a lot of rotation with this here all the way back now just to the south of Rose. So there is that rotation showing up pretty well. We're looking at the Fort Smith radar here. We'll switch it back over to the Tulsa radar, and I imagine it's going to line up right there. So that is fairly clear that we've got some rotation. But as I mentioned earlier, notice there is at least a little bit of space here between the greens and the reds. When those greens and reds are right up against each other, that's when you know you have extremely tight circulation. We saw that earlier with the supercell that tracked up through parts of Hughes County and also up into parts of Okfuskee County with what looked to be a very strong tornado. And you can see those velocities were much tighter, compact, and they were also much stronger. And it looks like we just got an updated now severe thunderstorm warning here, basically on the southern end of the circulation. So a lot of times you get what you call an RFD, or rear flank downdraft, that wraps around the backside of that circulation. So you see this little bulge right here. That can produce some pretty strong winds as well. And so that's what they've warned here, that potential strong wind with that wraparound with a severe thunderstorm warning now that will include Oaks, Little Kansas, Flint, Concord, and over to around West Siloam Springs. And of course, meteorologist Emma Landeros keeping an eye on a lot of stuff as well. It's been a very busy day and now into a busy night. Emma, what have you got for us?
Well, Michael, busy night indeed. In fact, folks, right now, county power outages. We've got about 2,000 people right now in Tulsa County. We've got 300 out in Coweta. Now, this does include that Wagner possible tornado that we were watching, and that is something that we're going to continue to watch as some folks are without power. Now, looking at reflectivity now back here, let me go ahead and clear all of that out. Starting to show these warnings right here. We continue to track this ongoing tornado warning that has continued to produce. It has a history of producing some tornadoes all the way back even for central Oklahoma. This line has continued to push further towards the east. Now slowly far eastern Oklahoma. This does go until 2 a.m. So just be aware out in Delaware County. So zooming in here just a little bit out towards Leech, Rose, Bull Hollow, just continue to keep that in mind as we go here within the next few minutes. Now, from the top, I mean, we've got Ottawa County severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to go until 1:45. The severe thunderstorm warning that goes into Delaware County 2 a.m. And then they went ahead and extended this severe thunderstorm warning for Adair County. That's going to go until 2:15. Heavy amounts of rain. You really do not want to be caught in this pretty much the squall line, because driving in through that, visibility goes way down. We did have one of our storm chasers couldn't keep up with these storms. He's worried about hydroplaning. That's going to be an issue if you're having to drive in this right here, because it is heavy downpours. You're talking about strong winds, so your visibility will go way down. These deep red that you're seeing right here, those are some very, very strong, heavy amounts of rain. And that's slowly inching its way over towards your doorstep. Tahlequah, be ready for that. Briggs as well, and even moving down towards the south. Pumpkin Center, Braggs, continuing to track that tornado warning as well here for Muskogee County. So that's going to continue until 1:45. We're going to keep an eye on that. And if I look here at that shear rate, we're still seeing some strong rotation right there, and even out towards that base velocity, you can still see that couplet that we're watching. And we're going to continue to track this moving towards the northeast right now, and it's going to continue here for the next about 24 minutes. This does look like it is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour, Michael.
I appreciate that, Emma. And again, here's another look at that, looking at storm relative velocity here. You can see that circulation here now just to the south and to the west of Leech. So Leech, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Make sure you are in an interior room away from all windows, lowest room of your floor. That circulation now getting very close to you as it continues to move off to the north and east. By far the quickest that we have seen so far this evening at around 50 miles per hour. So very obvious circulation here. We can see how everything is wrapped up. The red's moving away from the radar site and the green's moving toward the radar site. So right there, you can see how things are wrapped up. And so again, keeping an eye on this. It's going to continue to track off to the north and east, very close here to Little Kansas. It'll be very close to Concord, maybe just north, but I would go ahead and take your tornado precautions anyway, as that does move off to the north and to the east. So switching this back over to reflectivity, you can see the little bit of a hook right there kind of embedded in that line. So we've got a line of storms, but we're getting circulations to develop within that line because we have so much wind shear in place ahead of that line that these storms can begin to rotate. So that is what we are seeing. Let's zoom out here. Let's go all the way out. And again, we've got tornado warning here, southern portions of Muskogee County, far eastern portions of McIntosh County. We just talked about the tornado warning that's right now in effect here for southern portions of Delaware County. And again, that line extends all the way back here into Pittsburgh County with severe thunderstorm warnings. And also here, for those of you to the north, moving up here into Ottawa County, severe thunderstorm warnings now have been extended here into southwest Missouri as well, right around the Joplin vicinity. So the good thing I will say, one of the big concerns we've had with this line of storms is the flash flood potential. But I will say, I feel like this is moving a little quicker than what the data had indicated it might through the daytime hours and with what we were looking at. So watching this continue to push off to the east, as long as it keeps moving east and we keep seeing this eastward progression, that would certainly be good news. And plus, the quicker it moves east, the quicker it's out of here with the severe weather potential as well. Not just severe thunderstorm warnings, but the tornado warnings. But we'll have to watch the tail end of this line. This may be the portion that kind of gets hung up as we go through the morning hours. It might struggle to clear compared to what we've got farther to the north. So we're going to watch this area here to the south. You can see how these storms now may be beginning to train over each other. In fact, let me go ahead and play this real quick and just see how much of an easterly progression we're getting. And really not a whole lot here with the southern end of this line of storms. You can see how they're just kind of working right over the same area. So that was the concern that we had going into this, that we would start to see a lot of these storms training over each other. And you can just see the heavy rain just one by one by one going right over you. And that can really lead to some serious flooding concerns as that continues to happen. All right, let's pan back here a little farther to the north. Let me go ahead and stop that loop here real quick. We'll go right to the latest radar scan here. And again, let's zoom in just a little bit tighter. Let's go back in here over areas near Delaware County where we've got that tornado warning. Let's zoom in a little closer here. And again, still seeing that appendage and a bit of a hook echo as well. Even though we've got a line of storms, a little bit of a hook here where we've got that circulation. Their inflow is coming in here, and then you get the rear flank downdraft coming out this way. So right there's going to be that circulation, and that will line up perfectly with the velocity right there it is. So textbook stuff here, and again, that's the concern. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer. I do want to go a little closer here just so we can get Leech here on the map and some of the smaller communities here on the map. So there we go, coming right over Leech at the moment, coming right over Highway 412. So here is Little Kansas. Looks like the circulation may pass to your north, Little Kansas, but we talked about earlier, a lot of times you can get some strong winds on the south end of this as that RFD wraps around and pushes forward. So you can still get some strong straight line winds on the south end of this as it does move here off to the north and east. So we'll still have to watch for the potential that we could have some wind damage, or at least some potential straight line wind damage here from Oaks and maybe up to around Little Kansas as well. Let's pan a little farther here back to around Colcord. And again, it looks like that circulation continue to move here off to the northeast, could pass very close here to Cloud Creek, north of Little Kansas, and could be very close to Colcord or perhaps just north of Colcord as it continues to move here off to the north and to the east. So again, just continues to spin. Earlier, our lead storm chaser in the field, Mike Scantlin, had reported a very tight circulation with this, maybe 95 to 100 mile per hour winds back near Highway 64 and 62, right at that interchange. And this is that same area of circulation here as it continues to move off to the north and east. Mark Folta, our storm chaser, has been out. We've had some minor damage, it looks like, some power lines, some tree damage, maybe some road signs knocked over with some of the winds that we saw in Wagner with this storm as it has moved off to the north and east. So it's capable of doing some damage. Again, we're not looking at tight circulation where those greens and reds are right on top of each other. It's fairly broad, but you still got rotation here, certainly some tornado potential as this does move off to the north and to the east. Let's go ahead and zoom back out again here and get a look at what we've got as we take a look across much of the rest of the area. And again, there's our severe thunderstorm warnings, and there's our tornado warnings. The flashing red polygons are the tornado warnings, our severe thunderstorm warnings, go all the way back here into Pittsburgh County, and those extend all the way back down into parts of Texas as well. Switching it back here to reflectivity, just to show you what's ongoing here. For those of you around the Tulsa area, the good news is, yeah, we still have some rain, maybe hearing some rumbles of thunder, but the severe threat is over with. So if you're waking up in Tulsa this morning, you hear that thunder ongoing, and you were listening throughout the day with the severe weather potential, the severe threat now is done in Tulsa. That is also the case basically as you head back down to Okmulgee. We did have a likely damaging tornado here moving to parts of Okfuskee County and Hughes County earlier in the evening. Thankfully now all quiet there. We don't have to worry about any more severe weather moving through, but we still have some rain and some lightning around through the overnight. We will have to at least watch some flash flood potential, but at least the heavier rain here starting to get a little bit more of a push on northwestern portions here of Hughes County. Still, though, could be a problem here to the south and to the east, as it looks like the southern end of this line may get hung up a little bit. We've seen the north and eastern portion of this line get more of a push, but the southern end of this line might get hung up a bit, so we'll have to watch for the flash flooding potential here farther to the south if that continues to be the case. Let's go in a little closer here, right into parts of Pittsburgh County, right around the McAllister area. And again, watching this, let's see if I can grab that real quick. Let's see if we can try that again. And there it goes. Oh, I thought I had it. Let's try it one more time here and see if it holds on there. Oh, unfortunately, not having any luck. There we go. Now we finally got it. All right, now let's zoom in here into parts of Pittsburgh County because I do want to take a look at this storm here that is moving in through McAllister. Let's switch it over here to the Fort Smith radar as well. Check any of the velocities here within this line, and not looking at anything really impressive here at the moment. Looks like it's kind of washed out just a bit, but when you switch it back over to the reflectivity, again, there are some appendages here that certainly are worth watching where we might be getting a little bit of rotation. This being one here to the south and to the east of Savannah. That could potentially track up to around Hartshorn as it continues to move off to the north and to the east. But severe thunderstorm warning still continuing here for Pittsburgh County, mainly for damaging wind and hail threat as that moves off to the north and to the east. And again, eventually here, we'll see this into parts of Haskell County, also here into parts of Latimer County as this continues to push off to the east. So Quinton, back over to around Wilburton. It's been pretty quiet much of the day and into much of the night. We do have severe storms now just off to your west that we are keeping a very close eye on. Again, we'll zoom in just a little bit closer, maybe perhaps another little appendage there near Blocker. We'll switch it back over here to velocity data. And again, it might just be the way the reflectivity looks. I'm not seeing much here as far as the velocity data that would indicate that we have any sort of circulation there. But anytime you're dealing with these embedded circulations within a line, a lot of times they form very quickly and it can be very difficult to detect until they're right there and forming. So certainly we're scanning here. Anywhere we get maybe one of these appendages showing up, it's worth keeping an eye on here as we go through the evening hours. And of course, it has been quite busy. Meteorologist Annie Brown has showed up for early as we continue to watch this severe weather move on through. Annie, what are you seeing right now?
On those rainfall rates, and that's going to be a big issue as we go into the morning hours. As you can see, rainfall totals anywhere between 2 to 4 inches in some of the hardest hit areas as that line is moving through. And we're not done with this rainfall yet. So that's something we're really going to be monitoring as we go into the morning hours. Again, those rainfall totals have been really impressive. Let's pull up some of those as we speak right now. If we put this tracker on it, you could see just south of Muskogee around 2 inches of rain just with that first line. If we're looking up towards the Adair area, right around an inch of rainfall again. So heavy amounts of rain in a short amount of time. The system's really not moving all that quickly, so it is dumping a good amount of rain as we're keeping a close watch on things this morning. We're going to pull it over to reflectivity once again, and additional showers remaining behind it. Again, the main line is pushing through right now. And Chief Meteorologist Michael Sager keeping a close watch on it.
Yeah, if you don't mind actually going through that again, Annie, let's pull up links too while Annie was going through some of those rainfall totals because it did not show up there. We were on links 1, so if we can switch it over to links 2 so we can get what Annie was showing there to show the potential rainfall because that is absolutely a concern. concern, the flooding potential certainly is going to be a concern. So
There
there
we
we go.
go.
Right
Okay.
there it is. Yep.
Yep, there's the rainfall this morning, and I'll go ahead and back through this. If I zoom it in just a little bit south of Muskogee, you could see some of those yellows on there. So 2 to 4 inches in some locations as that line is moving through. So it's dumping a lot of rain, blinding rain. If you're in those spots, you could see that these, let me pull some of these totals up right now. Just south of Muskogee, you could see just around 2 inches of rainfall, and then around the Pryor area as well, you're looking closer to an inch. And we're not done with this rain yet. This is going to be a big issue that we're going to be talking about this morning, and especially as we go into the morning show, that we will be dealing with additional chances for heavy rainfall because we do have additional showers on the backside. No severe threats once this main line pushes through, thankfully, but the main concern will be that flooding.
Yeah, that certainly is. And the good thing is it does look like we are getting, at least on the northern end of this, a little bit more of a push. And the quicker this can move on out, that would certainly mean lower rainfall totals. So, again, hopefully we can get this to move through fairly quick. Let's zoom out here just a bit more. And I'm happy to see that the tornado warning that was in effect here, southern portions of Muskogee County, that has since been allowed to expire. We have one little box here left in Delaware County. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit tighter on that one. I'm going to switch this back over to the Tulsa radar here, and we'll zoom in a little closer here on this circulation. Still ongoing. This has been the most persistent circulation we've had over the last 30 minutes. And you can see where we've got that wrap right here, just to the north here of Little Kansas, south of Jay. Let's switch this back over to the velocity data, and you can still see that right there. It's curled up. So we've got the radar site in Inola right along just to the north of Highway 412. So greens are working their way back to the west toward the radar. That's air that's flowing in that direction. Reds are flowing the opposite direction from west to east. And so when you see those real close together like that, you know you've got rotation right there. Again, it's not very tight, but it has been persistent, and it continues to move here off to the north and to the east, and it has a history of doing some damage as well. So monitoring this as it continues to move here off to the north and to the east. We'll see if eventually that tornado warning gets extended here farther into parts of Delaware County and eventually perhaps into far northwest Arkansas or southwestern portions of Missouri, because there's still a fairly persistent circulation that is going to stay to your north of Little Kansas, and it looks like it's going to maybe pass just north and west of Colcord. We'll have to watch that, but those of you here between Jay and Little Kansas along Highway 59, which really winds through that part of Delaware County, if you've ever driven it, again, that's where you want to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Right there as is that circulation. It may almost pass almost halfway between Little Kansas and Jay, at least by the way the crow flies. So again, watching that as it moves off to the north and to the east, and earlier speed on it was closer to 50 miles per hour. So it was certainly not wasting its time as it has been moving along. So that's the latest there on that circulation. So again, south of Jay, north of Little Kansas, and probably just to the north and west of Colcord. That's where you want to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Right there is that circulation. We'll go ahead and switch this back over to reflectivity. And I do want to, again, you can see right there, it is as clear as day where we've got that little appendage coming out of the line, and that's a circulation. So we'll zoom out here, go all the way back out. You can see some of the rain that extends all the way back here, some steadier rain all the way back across the city of Tulsa, Stillwater, and back even to around the Oklahoma City area. You start getting some of these yellows, and you're seeing some more in the way of some moderate rain, but most of this is much lighter compared to the heavier rain that we've got in the main line as it continues to push off here to the east. But numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, and we've been focused a lot on those tornado warnings, but anywhere along this line, we've got potential for some damaging wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we're watching that here in McAllister. Also, as you head up here to areas from Eufaula, as you head up to around Muskogee too. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. I've already got that selected. Let's go to the south, and then we're going to work our way to the north here along this line. So those of you here into Latimer County and Haskell County, still waiting on a lot of these storms to move on in. It does look like the southern end of this line may kind of hold up a little bit, may not get as much of a push as what we're seeing to the north. And so that, again, could lead to that flash flooding potential a little bit more here to the south, where those storms may start to train over some of the same areas. We've got Eufaula, Shakota, Warner now getting into some of that heavier rain. Again, the earlier tornado warning that we had here to the south has since been allowed to expire, so that is certainly some good news there. As we pan farther here to the north and to the east, back up to around Tahlequah, you're now getting into the heavy rain, likely some gusty winds. You can see the severe thunderstorm warnings extend here all the way to Westville and just about to Stillwell, almost basically here into parts of Adair County, right up to about Highway 59, then farther to the south here into Sequoia County. That severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way to about Salisaw, and we'll likely see this extended into Arkansas as these storms continue to push here off to the east and to the north and east. And again, back down here, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, Gore, Vian, Salisaw, Keota, as you head back to around Stigler and right over Kerr Lake as well. Again, we've got all of these storms tracking off to the east and northeast, potential with some damaging wind gusts up to about 60 to 70 miles per hour. So zooming that out once again, there's the kind of overview. We do now see that tornado warning extended here into far northwest portions of Arkansas and the rest of Delaware County. So let's get back to that real quick since that just updated. And again, it's just about ready to move out of our DMA, and as soon as it does so, we may be able to go back to regular programming, and then we'll continue cut-ins as we go through the remainder of the morning until this line finally clears on through. But of course, if we would happen to get an additional tornado warning, we'll be right back on the air. But let's go ahead and get a closer look at this. Let's put in the velocity data, and let's zoom in just a little bit closer here into that circulation. Again, that tornado warning has now been extended farther to the north and to the east. Still fairly broad circulation, but it is there. There are the green inbounds. There are the red outbounds. So right there is that broad area of circulation. And we mentioned it would probably pass about halfway between Jay and Little Kansas, and that's what it's doing right now. Just going to miss you to the north in Colcord, but we talked about it earlier. Even on the south side of this rotation where you get that RFD, that rear flank downdraft to wrap around, you can get some pretty good straight line winds and pretty strong straight line winds on the leading edge of that RFD. So you still may get some very strong wind gusts here with this in Colcord as it does move on through, and it's right on your doorstep at the moment. So if that wind starts to pick up here in Colcord over the next few moments, that's likely what you are dealing with. The main circulation's here to your north, and that will continue to track here in the far eastern portions of Adair County and eventually up here to far northwestern portions of northwestern Arkansas as well. So that tornado warning has been extended. Do we have the latest update on the forward speed of that tornado warning? Earlier, this one was moving up to about 50 miles per hour.
Let up. This is moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour.
So it has dropped about 5 miles per hour compared to what it was doing earlier. So just monitoring that. So it won't be long at 45 miles per hour. It's not going to be much longer until that crosses across the Arkansas and Oklahoma state line and is no longer a concern for us. But those of you here around Maysville and Sycamore, it's going to be very close, but I would go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now. Maysville, absolutely, because that is tracking right up, it looks like, in your direction. Take those tornado precautions right now. Again, interior room, away from any windows, lowest floor of your home. If you have a helmet you can put on, it could be anything, baseball helmet, football helmet, whether you have a bicycle helmet you can wear, any sort of protection for your head, that certainly would be something that could be helpful. And also one thing to do as well is make sure you're wearing your shoes. If you're barefoot and a tornado hits, then you have to deal with perhaps some of the damage around. You have nails that could be a problem, broken glass, and so always make sure you have some shoes on as well as you take tornado precautions. So that's what we're watching here with that circulation. Again, not seeing anything that would indicate we've got a tornado on the ground at the moment, but definitely some rotation that has been persistent and capable of possibly producing a tornado here as it's just coming across Highway 59 south of Jay and looks like here to the north and west of Colcord. So that's going to continue to track off here to the north and east now at about 45 miles per hour. So that's getting very close here to the Maysville vicinity as that does move off to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. Switch it back over here to reflectivity real quick. See if I can get that to go for us. And again, as you are heading out and about tonight in Tulsa, of course, a lot of us are probably home already. And again, let's see if I can get this to pull up the reflectivity. There it goes. And again, the severe threat is done for the Tulsa Metro. So we are all good. It has all been pushed off here to the east. And again, we're going to zoom in just a little bit closer here. Let me actually zoom that back out. Let's go all the way back out, and then we'll get a closer look here farther to the north. There's that line that does extend farther here to the south and east as well. But right now, the biggest concern within this line is this area of circulation here moving across southern portions of Delaware County, and that is moving off to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. So let's zoom in here again. Let's start back here to the south over parts of Pittsburgh County, and notice how this really hasn't moved a whole lot. Let me try that one more time. This hasn't moved a whole lot here over Pittsburgh County. Still has not moved into Latimer County. I'm going to go ahead and just play this and see how much movement we're getting here to the east. And again, let's see, this goes back, we're going to go to, there's our time, 1:57. So this goes back about a half hour, and look at how little it has moved in that half hour. So there we are right now. There it was a half hour ago. So this is at a snail's pace to the east. You can see how the individual storms, if you look at some of the cores within these, they're actually lifting off to the north and northeast, and the leading edge of the line itself, I mean, it is just crawling to the east. It is really taking its time, and that's part of the concern with the flash flood threat here to the south. You can see more heavy rain back here in the southern portions of Hughes County, so the rainfall totals are really going to start adding up here in parts of Pittsburgh County and McIntosh County here, where we've got those storms just training right over the same areas. And this has been one of the concerns that we had with tonight, is that it was going to be painfully slow for portions of this line to move on through. And it definitely looks like, at least as of right now, we're seeing southern portions of our area that could be in the line for some very heavy rain and potential flash flooding. That's why we've had that flood watch in effect, go in effect for tonight, is because of this concern. And again, if you live in a flood prone area, be aware, especially for those of you here to the south. Even though we don't have any flash flood warnings yet, as this rain continues to come down, it could trigger a few flash flood warnings. If you live in a flash flood prone area or a flood prone area, be aware that you may have to deal with some rising water, and some quick rising water, as this rain continues to move on through. And also still seeing here some of these appendages that are sticking out right there. You can see that one, and here's another one that could indicate perhaps a little bit of rotation on the leading edge of that line too, that certainly we have to keep an eye on. So again, watching that very closely here as we look here at this moving off to the north and to the east. Let's see if I can switch that off of here real quick. There we go. And let's pan here a little bit farther here to the north, back up to around Porham and Gore. We've got that heavy rain moving on through. Of course, we've had a lot going on throughout the day with these showers and storms, the severe threat that we've dealt with, the tornado threat that we've dealt with. Meteorologist Emma Landeros has been keeping an eye on a lot of this stuff as well. We've had the entire staff in. We've had our storm chasers out, and we're not done just yet. Emma, what are you seeing?
Well, we certainly aren't done just yet. That's the correct thing to say, because we are still tracking that line of storms that's continuing to push across green country. We've been mentioning right now a lightning show right now, quite a bit of lightning over towards us here in Tulsa, and that's going to continue pretty much here through those overnight hours. But as we've been mentioning, once you're behind this area right here that you're seeing, that deep red with those stronger wind gusts and some heavier rain, you're going to be in the all clear for that severe weather threat. So if you're staying up, wondering what's going on, if you are behind this line that I'm showing you right here, you're going to be in the all clear. You're safe to go to bed if you'd like. And of course, just continue, you may hear some rumbles of thunder pretty much throughout the remainder of tonight. We're dealing with quite a bit of rainfall as well. So I do want to point that out, actually, just going here in the past 12 hours, because up towards Osage County, just north, areas that are needing quite a bit of rainfall, we are going to be, here, let's go ahead and get links 3 up. So that way we're able to see some of that rain that we're dealing with. All right, there we go. Right here, upwards of 6 inches of rain. Areas that are needing some of this rain, they're getting some of that rain. And you can see that in that deep shaded purple right there. In fact, on our mesonet that they have recorded about just over an inch, almost an inch and a half here in Tulsa. We've got almost 2 inches in Bixby as well, and much higher amounts. Okemah, almost 3 inches of rain. Of course, we're going to continue to add to this. But not only that, those wind gusts right now that we're tracking, the Mesonet site, in fact, actually recorded in Okmulgee 72 mile per hour wind gust, 64 mile per hour wind gust in Haskell, 70 mile per hour wind gusts in Porter. So where we were tracking those strong rotation that we were tracking right there from Okmulgee all the way out in Porter. I mean, Porter reported 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and these have continued to track further towards the east overnight. Lots of lightning associated with this. We've been mentioning some very low visibility if you are in track, if you're having to go out. I know a lot of people maybe go to work really early, or if you're having to travel, take those precautions. Visibility is way down, and of course we're going to continue to track quite a bit of rainfall continuing to go through these next few hours, Michael.
Yeah, and that's certainly something we'll be watching there to the south. And you were pointing out the heavier rainfall to the north. Boy, those storms earlier in the day just trained right over far northern portions of our region. We had numerous tornado warnings. Several, those of you around Cedarvale and Sedan had multiple tornado warnings at times throughout the afternoon and early evening, as we just saw storm after storm track over your area. But now we're looking here again at that line of storms that continues to move on through. Let's see if we can perhaps switch it back over here to Lynx 1. There we go. And you can see, again, watching these areas here, there was the tornado warning that we had earlier right around Warner. That has since been allowed to expire. And again, we're also seeing perhaps some of these Boeing segments and some of these appendages coming out that would indicate that perhaps we're getting some strong winds or maybe even some rotation trying to develop. But so far, things are looking pretty good here farther south along that line. Let's do switch this over, though, because we're closer to the Fort Smith radar here farther to the south. And you can see there are some of the more intense portions of this line here now tracking right near Gore as you head back down to around Porham and as you head back to around Quinton. And you can see not getting much of an easterly push. We were talking about that just a little bit. It's inching and inching east, but it's certainly struggling. The individual storms that are kind of within this line have been tracking more off to the north and northeast, and then the line itself just gradually working its way eastward. We might be at least a hint there, perhaps a little bit of circulation right around Gore. I'm going to switch this back over here to storm relative velocity, and maybe a little bit, but not looking too impressive at the moment. Let's switch it back to velocity, see if that helps at all. But again, yeah, not too much at the moment as we're looking at this here push off to the east. Again, we're using the Fort Smith radar here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, looking back here to the east. Let's do Pan, though. I want to go back to the north here, get a look at this circulation that we do have that tornado warning here with this circulation that is just about ready to cross over here into northwest Arkansas. Let's switch it back over to storm relative velocity. There's the circulation right there. And let's actually go back to the Tulsa radar because that's probably a little cleaner look here into this portion of the line. So you can still see that circulation is right here now pushing off to the east of Jay, to the north of Colcord. It's going to move up here right near the Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas state line, maybe just south of that corner. Right there is that latest circulation. It's just about ready now to cross over the border, so we're about ready to see this tornado warning dropped. And as long as we don't have any other tornado warnings ongoing, we will go back to regular programming at that point, and we'll just continue with cut-ins periodically as we go through the remainder of the morning. But as soon as we have a tornado warning, we'll be back live on the air, which right now we still do here with this circulation right over parts of Delaware County. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer here. Again, we're looking now to the east of Jay, right near the Arkansas state line. So right here is Maysville. We were talking about Maysville earlier. Need to be taking your tornado precautions. There's that circulation right there, tracking right up to around Maysville. It's not very tight, and a lot of times with a tight circulation, your green and your red are going to be right up against each other. So we've got that space there in between. So that indicates it's not a very extremely tight rotation, but it is definitely there. So the greens are flowing toward the radar site. Reds are flowing away. Let me go ahead and stop that playing motion so we've got it there with the latest this scan. And there you can see right there is that circulation. So we're right now within a couple of miles now from crossing over the state line here, right near Maysville, still moving off to the north and to the east at around 45 miles per hour. So watching this closely. Again, tornado precautions here around Maysville to the east here of Sycamore, and that tornado warning will continue here into northwest Arkansas, and we'll see if eventually the Springfield National Weather Service will issue the tornado warning, continue it into southwestern portions of Missouri as well. Right now, though, still have a very noticeable circulation. It's right near Maysville, so almost right now on top of Maysville is where that circulation is. To the south, we're probably getting some gusty winds on the leading edge here where that rear flank downdraft surges forward around the south side of that circulation. So right there, might be getting some pretty strong straight line winds here. That is now moving off into far northwestern portions here of Arkansas, but probably still some strong winds farther to the west of there into parts of Adair County as well here south of Maysville. But right there's that circulation. That is the area of concern as everything moves here off to the north and to the east. So again, just really watching this closely. It's about ready to cross over the state line, but right now, tornado precautions in Maysville. Let's zoom out just a little bit, just kind of scan the rest of this line too. That's just about ready now to cross over and into, again, Arkansas and Missouri. It looks like they did extend that tornado warning. You can see the flashing now, the red flashing into southwestern portions of Missouri. So they did continue that tornado warning farther to the north and to the east. Let's go back farther to the south. Let's switch it here to the Fort Smith radar, and I do want to just take a look here at perhaps some of the velocities that we've got here with the Fort Smith radar real quick on the leading edge of this line, and it gets a little kind of ugly looking here. It's kind of tough to see what is going on, but perhaps again, it's just not looking too clean here. Some of the data returns and not seeing much here, at least right now, in the way of much circulation. Let's see, what do we've got there? I don't think that really lines up right when you look at it from the Fort Smith radar. So again, seeing some areas here where we might have a little bit of rotation, but boy, it's not looking too clean here on the data. Certainly not seeing anything of any concern. Nothing like that we have farther to the north here where it's pretty prominent where we've got that rotation farther to the north into Adair County. So we'll switch this back to reflectivity. Again, even though we're not seeing any circulations along this line right now, we certainly are dealing with areas of potentially strong wind gusts as this does move off to the east, and of course dealing with the potential flooding that we could see. Heavy rain right now in Tahlequah, some gusty winds to go with it, more the same as you head back to around Gore and Porham, and also here as you go to the south here of Siloam Springs, back over to just northwest of Westville, that leading edge of that line pushing through, and again, straight line wind gusts would be the main severe concern with this as it does move here off to the east. Let's go farther to the south here, and again, tracking that line all the way back here to around Eufaula and McAllister. Heavy rain, just about ready to come into Hartshorn. We played this area earlier, kind of looped the radar to see how slow it was moving, and just now seeing some of the first edges of rain now crossing over into parts of Latimer County. So far, still very busy here to the south and east. A damaging wind threat with these storms. They continue to move here off to the east. And of course, meteorologist Annie Brown in early for your Sunday morning shift. Continue to track this line of storms. Annie, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, if they want to take links to Weather 2, we can talk about some of these storm reports because it has been quite the night across the state. As you can see, all of these little bubbles around here are damage reports, and what you're seeing in the red are those tornado reports. Of course, we'll have to wait for National Weather Service to get out and inspect these locations in order to confirm, and we'll bring those to you as soon as we get them in. This should be in the coming days. Multiple tornado reports, though, and not only that, damaging winds on top of everything else. I do want to point to alert came through that quite a bit of tree damage and power lines are down, as well as structural damage in Morris, which is in Okmulgee. So that area right now, they're really monitoring. I know crews are trying to be actively trying to clean up and prepare and block off where power lines are down and just help your fellow neighbor. I know us here in Tulsa, we know what this is like. A lot of us are thinking back to the Father's Day storm, and we know what it's like to have the trees down, the power damage. Help your neighbor. Just keep that in mind. You're all going through this together, and we are here to help you and support you as best we can.
I appreciate that, Annie. And again, that damage there around Morris, the same circulation that is now working its way into areas there to the south and to the east. It grows right around the Maysville vicinity we've been talking. That's that same persistent area of circulation that, again, has just worked its way off to the north and to the east. And again, we can switch it back here to Weather 1, and I will arrange our radar here. We're about ready to see that circulation move out of eastern Oklahoma, and as soon as it does, we will eventually go back here to regular programming as soon as we see that tornado warning dropped, and then we will continue with cut-ins though as needed. Again, we're still going to watch a flash flood threat here farther to the south and to the east because this line of storms very slow to inch its way eastward. You can see the deep reds here indicating some very heavy rain with these storms, and that line is not just moving slow, but it's also a fairly wide area here of some heavy rain as well. So slow to move through, long, persistent, heavy rain certainly could lead to that flash flood threat for those of you to the south. We have seen a bit more of an eastern push, thankfully, with the northern end of this line. We're going to zoom in here. Let me pan just a little farther north of where I zoomed in there, get back up here to this circulation, and there you can see right about here is where that circulation would be. I am going to switch this back to the Tulsa radar, though, to give us just a little bit more of a cleaner view here, and that circulation now working its way here right into far northwestern portions here of Arkansas, now tracking here into the near the Maysville area, but right there is that circulation just kind of gradually moving here off to the north and to the east. But it looks like the circulation has now cleared Oklahoma. We still do have that tornado warning in effect, and so we'll hold tight at the moment until that tornado warning is dropped. But that tornado warning also does include here far northwestern portions of Arkansas, so we probably won't see the Adair County line or the Adair County tornado warning dropped until they eventually drop the tornado warning, which also includes here northwestern portions of Arkansas. But that being said, there's the circulation here. It looks like that's going to be tracking up here very close to Sulphur Springs. And if it continues here to the north and east, it's going to work its way here into southwestern portions of Missouri as well. But that circulation has since cleared now eastern Oklahoma. So right now, no concerns at the moment, at least, with any tornadoes in Oklahoma at the moment. So that is certainly good news, at least in our viewing area. We'll zoom out though and get back here to reflectivity, and we'll get ready to toss it back here to regular programming now that that circulation is moving out. But I do just want to kind of go up and down the line here. Again, Tulsa, we're in the all clear. Skiatook, Coffeyville, Independence, Bartlesville, all clear. Everybody here to the west of this line, we are in the all clear. So that is certainly some good news. Still, though, ahead of this line, heavy rain, damaging wind threat. You can still see the heavy rain and the thunderstorms here back through Cherokee County and Adair County, all the way back down here to Muskogee and McAllister. And that line goes all the way back, including severe thunderstorm warnings, all the way back into portions of southern portions here of Oklahoma as well, all the way back down to the Red River. And again, the flash flood threat is going to be a concern as we start to see some of these storms train over some of the same areas. So watching this closely here as everything moves off to the north and to the east. We'll have to keep an eye on the leading edge here, some of these lines. If we do happen to get a circulation that tries to spin up, we will certainly break back in for live coverage to do that right as soon as that forms. But until then, we'll just continue with some cut-ins periodically as we go through the morning hours, just to update you with the position of the storms, or if anything happens to develop any more strength, a tornado warning or anything like that that we need to update you on, we'll be right back on the air. But stay with us as we go through the overnight, and we'll continue to keep you advised.